What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about my sobriety and why I don't care about that word anymore. If you are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has served time in prison, and my entire crazy life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast that I really need to record a new episode for. So first and foremost, I just want to say that I want this video to be like two friends talking. I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to you if you were sitting at my kitchen table and we were just having a conversation, which is what I want my entire channel to be. Like, we're just talking here. I am not an expert in my field. I am not someone that's telling you that this is the way that you need to do it. This is just what works for me. This is just me, my sobriety, and what I've been doing. And if I can encourage you to maybe have an open mind when discussing recovery, cool, but I don't want to influence you or make you think that what works for me is going to work for you, because we are all different and recovery is not one size fits all. But having said that, I think there's so much toxicity in the recovery community, and that's what we're going to talk about. So a good friend of mine fairly recently made a video titled "I Don't Care About Being Sober Anymore," and his name is CG Kid, and I have so much love and respect for him. He has gone through a lot, and he's very intelligent and very smart. And when he came out with that video and I heard his perspective, everything just started to click in my head, because I felt what he was saying in my soul. So definitely go check out that video on his vlog channel, because it's from the heart and it's real. It's a real part of those of us in recovery not wanting to fit in somebody's box that they've determined what recovery is. So I don't care about being sober anymore. And when I say that, I mean, like, I don't care about that word. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there is so much toxicity in the recovery community, especially on TikTok. The recovery community over there is intense, and people tend to be fairly judgmental on TikTok. I know that's shocker, but it happens, and I get judgment and stigma and shame on every single platform that I'm on because I use Schmeed to medicate my mental health, but I've also had a lot of love and kindness. So yes, I get hate and judgment on every single platform. I also get a lot of love and kindness and acceptance, and I get a lot of questions. And almost every single day on YouTube and TikTok, I see questions that say, how can you say you're sober when you smoke weed? How can you say that you're sober if you're doing it this way? How is this sober? Sober is refraining from all substances. And although I don't necessarily agree with sober means abstaining from every single substance, there are some people that are pretty hardcore when it comes to substances entering their body. I know some people that don't even want to wear cologne because there's alcohol in it. They don't want to use mouthwash that has alcohol in it. And I completely understand that. If that is what is keeping you happy, healthy, alive, and in recovery, then by all means do that. But abstinence is not the only way, and abstinence does not work for everyone. I want to add in here that I was on some form of probation or parole from the age of 13 to 28. And when you're in the system like that and you're required to go to probation or parole, they also require you to go to things like drug and alcohol, and they require you to go to counseling and meetings, and every single thing that I was required to do, even court-ordered rehab, it all centered around abstinence. And abstinence was the only way that I was allowed to be in recovery. And if I wasn't in abstinence-based recovery, I was put back in jail. I was punished. That did not work. I've relapsed 12 times and I was struggling. So when I did finally go to prison this last time and have my daughter in prison, I thought, you just have to do it. You just have to be abstinent. You just have to. There is no other way, because that was programmed in my head for so long. And I did not understand that I needed a dual diagnosis. Yes, I was suffering from the disease of addiction, but I was also suffering from severe mental health issues like chronic insomnia and depression. And then while I was in prison, I then had PTSD. PTSD has been the most challenging issue, because along with PTSD comes night sweats and chronic insomnia and depression. And the PTSD aspect of my mental health is really rough. There were times where I just wanted to unalive myself. And I couldn't shake that. I couldn't shake that feeling, and I just couldn't get over the fact that I did not want to be here anymore. And it was so intense for me multiple times over, just again and again and again, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do when it came to my chronic insomnia, and I tried everything. The first like 7 years or so of my recovery, it was abstinent based, but I was white knuckling my mental health so severely. I got off parole and I still was not okay. I was still white knuckling it. And over time, I finally got my medical card. Okay, now we're all caught up, right? Because I had been programmed in a sense to think that abstinence was the only way and that I could only get medication in early recovery, like MAT, like medically assisted treatment is given to you at the beginning when you're getting in recovery, and I didn't know where I fit in with that because I had been in prison for 2.5 years. So obviously when I got out, I didn't really need to be on that because I've already detoxed. I couldn't be put on pills because it's such an enormous trigger for me, so I just white knuckled it. So cannabis saved my life, and I'm so grateful to have that pathway open to me. I have something in my toolbox when everything else falls short, like meditation, like eating healthy, like exercising, like melatonin, like essential oils, like CBD. There are things that I would try to do, breathing techniques. I mean, you name it, I've exhausted all of my resources when it comes to trying to white knuckle my mental health and trying to do every single thing aside from using medicine or cannabis. I tried it all. I tried it all and nothing was helping me. So cannabis literally saved my life. And when I smoke, it's like a deep breath. Like I am just able to take a deep breath. I'm able to relax. I'm able to breathe. I'm able to be calm. I'm able to sleep through the night and not wake up freaking exhausted and in a melatonin induced coma. Like I feel good. The abuse potential with sleeping medication for me is not, it was just not good. It was not a risk I was willing to take. So why did I say all of that? Those of us that were in active addiction should not have to deprive ourselves of medication because somewhere out there people think that we're not sober. Mental health is physical health because our brain is part of our body. As much as I was fighting to take care of my physical health with exercising and eating right and doing all of these things that I was doing, taking long baths, doing self-care, like I was exhausted trying to do all of the things so that my body would go to sleep like a normal person. We just shouldn't have to deprive ourselves. And I'm so sick and tired of people getting on the internet and telling people that they're not sober because they're on MAT. They're not sober because they use cannabis in recovery. They're not sober because they drink alcohol sometimes. You know what happens when you tell someone you're not sober?
You're messing up, you're messing up, you're messing up.
They're gonna internalize that and they're gonna meditate on that and they're gonna think that, and that could cause something very serious. Now I know that it can be very scary as the family member of an addict to see somebody use cannabis in recovery or see somebody have a beer at the end of the day after they struggled with a meth addiction. I understand that these things are scary for those that are kind of watching on the outside looking in, but instead of saying you're doing it wrong, you're not sober, stop doing that, you're gonna relapse, you're gonna die, instead of fear mongering and throwing all of your fears onto someone that's in active addiction, it's so much better to just say, if you're concerned, are you okay? Are you doing okay? You know I'm here if you need to talk, right? That's just a more gentle way of asking somebody if they're okay. Addiction is wiping out this generation, and all the crap that I see on the internet all the time is just like forcing their hand. The shame and the judgment and the stigma around the word sober is just gross to me. If those watching this video think that I am not sober because I'm using cannabis, fine, keep that word. Y'all can have it. You can have that word. I don't care about it. I don't care about that word anymore. I know that I'm healthy. I know that I am using my medication properly. I know I'm not abusing it, and I know that I am alive today because of cannabis. A lot of people throw around, you're doing that and making excuses. This is an excuse for you to do drugs. A lot of people say that when we talk about using cannabis in recovery, and what you're saying is that you're making excuses for your mental health. What you're saying is that my mental health isn't important. What you're saying is it's not okay for me to need medicine because it's just an excuse. We need to normalize people using cannabis in recovery, and we need to normalize mental health being just as important as our physical health. I can't tell you all the news articles I read on people that are struggling with their mental health and all the comments laughing at them. This just happened to Simone Biles. She got a lot of criticism for not being able to participate in every single event at the Olympics. She did not have her ADHD medication. And I saw so much shame and stigma around that. And I think she's a freaking badass. I think it was very wise of her to realize that she needed to take a step back and, hey, I have the twisties. Hey, I need my medication. Hey, I'm not okay. And it takes a leader sometimes to just let your team handle it. But that's a conversation for another time. I love Simone Biles, stand behind you. Oftentimes people see celebrities and athletes and people online and influencers talking about mental health issues. But if you go to the comment section of these videos or the Twitter feed or whatever you're looking at for a celebrity or well-known person, people are laughing in the comment section when talking about mental health. That's like the norm, which is so weird to me. And anytime I talk about that, people are like, well, you shouldn't have shared it on the internet. No. Normalize talking about mental health. health, normalize all pathways in recovery, and stop being so judgmental and hateful. Now, this could come from a place of fear. Maybe you're afraid that your loved one is gonna see my video and decide that they're gonna smoke and they're gonna relapse. I totally understand that. But by projecting those fears onto someone that you don't know on the internet, other people are going to see those comments. Do you think Simone Biles is gonna see your comments about her making excuses? No. You know who is gonna see that? Maybe someone that you know in your life. Maybe someone on your Facebook is gonna see that. So just be freaking kind to people. But just to get back on track with what I was saying, addiction is wiping out this generation, and we should not deprive ourselves of medication because other people have decided what is and what is not sober. Stop having those conversations with people. Stop it, because they do more harm than good. If you see someone with their life together and they're happy and healthy and thriving, just leave them the hell alone. Leave them the hell alone. Don't tell them they're not sober because they're taking medication. It's just ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous saying it out loud, saying that we're not in recovery if we're taking medication. Since when should I deprive myself of medication because someone somewhere says that I'm not sober? That's insane. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna live my life according to what people on the internet think. It has taken me a while to be comfortable enough to talk about my medicine, and I called it coming out of the weed closet because I met with Mark and Craig. Pot Brothers at Law, shout out to you. And I was just about to make a video about smoking. And I wanted to tell you guys that my recovery changed after 7 years. And I wanted to be honest about that. But it took me, I don't know, 6 or 8 months of debating it in my head and talking to other people online in my circle that I know. I was like, I'm kind of thinking about doing this video. I had multiple creators tell me, oh my God, Jess, don't do that because they're going to come for you. They're going to criticize you. They're not going to accept you. Don't do that. That's dangerous, or your message is dangerous and it might cause a relapse in somebody else. And I really hung on to that. I hung on to that because I felt like maybe this person's right. Maybe my message is dangerous to somebody. And then it just hit me one day. If I'm not my authentic self, isn't that more harmful? Isn't that more harmful if I'm not authentic? Isn't it more harmful to not include all pathways of recovery, especially my own? Isn't that more dangerous than saying like, okay, isn't that more dangerous? I think I overthought coming out of the weed closet for such a long time. What's crazy is it's 2021. You would think that this would be an accepted way, but I'm still seeing a lot of judgment and a lot of shame. The whole premise of this video is to just sit down with you guys and talk to you about it and let you know that sober is not a word that I'm gonna use in my recovery anymore because I don't care. I don't care what you think about it. I don't care that you, not the Ride or Die crew, other people. I don't care that they think that I'm not sober. It's okay, make podcasts about me. Go on Twitter and say that I'm not sober. Go on my Instagram and tell me that I'm still ingesting chemicals and I'm not clean and I'm gonna relapse and use dope. Like, go ahead. If you wanna spend your time and energy attacking me, go ahead and do that. But I would just encourage you to do some more research on how amazing cannabis can be for those of us that have mental health issues. Or like Montel Williams, I was on his podcast. He's been taking cannabis for years and years and years for his MS. I know people that use THC for seizures and just all different kinds of things. My whole point here is whether your medication comes in a pill or an oil or a plant and you're working recovery and you're happy, healthy, and thriving, I think you're amazing and I think you're killing it, and don't let other people tell you that you're not. A lot of people find themselves into active addiction because of a different issue. Addiction is the surface level problem for so many. Well, all we see is addiction. That's all we see. Underneath that is trauma and pain and mental health issues and suffering. No one takes a pill or a sip of alcohol or drugs. No one takes that thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be an addict. They take that because they want to end suffering. Addiction is the solution, not the problem to so many of us. And understanding that is the key to long-term success in recovery. What led me to addiction? My mental health issues. What can treat my mental health issues so that I have success in recovery? Is it a plant? Cool, I'm gonna smoke it. So that's my point of view. That's this whole video, is be less judgmental. Stop telling people they're not sober if you see them happy, healthy, and thriving and on medication that saved their life. I know this video was like super rambly. Maybe some of it didn't even make sense, but it's just on my heart, and I'm the kind of person that cannot do anything unless I talk about what's on my mind, and this has just been on my mind for weeks now, and I just wanted to let y'all know that I don't care about that word. I don't care about that word. That word doesn't even matter to me anymore because I know that I am healthy and happy and thriving, and I am a good mother to my kids. I think that's another thing that I hear a lot, like, do you smoke in front of your kids? No, no. People ask me every single day too, do my kids know about smoking? Do they know about Schmeed? And I don't hide that from them. I keep a jar on my dresser. I don't hide it. I'm not gonna hide it from them. But you have to think about it like this. If you get put on a medication, are you gonna sit your 5-year-old down and say, Mommy, got a new medication from the doctor? Like, no, I don't talk about it like that. All they know is that I'm happy, healthy, thriving, sleeping through the night, and my medicine is a plant. I have grown some plants here or there because in Illinois you can grow 5 when you're a medical patient, and there was a day where I was just kind of watering the plants all around my house and my grow tent and outside, and Micah was asking me what each plant was called, and I told her that's my medicine. I didn't tell her it's marijuana. I just said my medicine. And then we moved on to the next one. And I'm just slowly having these conversations with her. I am never going to demonize that plant in this house, ever. I'm not. Okay, I feel like I've rambled on long enough. I really hope this video makes sense. I really hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to say. The whole point of this video is just to hear all the stuff that's going on in my head, and maybe it'll change someone's mind, or maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from. So I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. And I will see you guys in my next one. This is like a silly side note. I was doing a CBD hemp lavender sleep mask one night, and someone told me on Instagram that I'm not sober for using a CBD sleep mask. Like, ugh.